Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? This is Dorothy, and this is Dorothy's blog. This is where I tell my story every week or every other week. This is where I just try to bear my mind after a life incident that's really took me. This incident almost took me, and I'm talking about the adoption of my daughter. So, you all are aware of my story. If you're not, please go on Facebook and look for Dorothy's blog. There you see my story. So today I'm just going to start this series of trying to talk about how these people fooled me. I mean, the people that adopted my child, how they fooled me with false friendship, with false trust, and everything. So I'm going to start with how I met these people. So first of all, I already told you how my husband left and everything. He left me when I was pregnant and I was misdiagnosed with cancer, but I didn't know it was. They didn't know it was a misdiagnosis then. But apparently, the doctors thought I was having liver cancer. So they saw all the signs and everything, and they warned me that I might be kept back in the hospital after my delivery. So they asked me if I had any family around to take care of the baby when the baby is born, and I told them no. And truly, I had no one. At a point, I thought about my in laws and I called them, and they wouldn't answer me. I explained the situation, I explained everything to them. They wouldn't listen to me. And even that, my husband that came with me to America changed his number. He wouldn't talk to me because then he was already married to this lady who was going to give him his green card. So he wasn't ready to jeopardize that. So whenever I called his number, he would say he was not the one I was talking to. But I could clearly tell that it was his voice. But at a point, he had to change the number and I couldn't reach him again. But I started reaching out to his family and they wouldn't even talk to me. So this went on for a while. So before then, I started to reach out to outsiders. And that was when I got to know about a Nigerian lawyer who did immigration stuff, because at that same time my visa was running out, so I was also trying to get an extension so I can stay back and take care of myself. So I got to know this man. I went to the law office where he worked, and I paid him, and he started the process of extending my visa. My visa got extended. I got all the inform all the I got response um, from the immigration. So they gave me extra 6 months. So that way I could at least take care of myself. So what happened at this time was that when the hospital kept pressurizing me, excuse me, they kept asking me if I had any family around, if I know anybody around that could take care of my child. I reached out to this lawyer. I reached out to him not knowing who he really was, but I reached out to him because after my extension, he started visiting me. The first day he came to my house was at night, like almost 7:30 or so. I just um, heard a knock and I went and opened the door and it was him standing there. At first, I didn't recognize him because I did my extension and that was that. But I didn't know this man had ulterior motive. At that point, I think he didn't know I was pregnant. So he was just trying to chase after me or something. I don't know. But when his visit became constant, like he would come, stop by in the evenings and bring me in Nigerian movies, we'll watch, and then he will leave. And at the point I asked him, I said, "Are you not married?" He said, "No, I'm not married." And because then, a woman that has a broken heart and everything, and then you see somebody coming to talk with you, you feel relaxed, you feel, comfortable. So at a point, I felt so comfortable that I told him about my husband. I said, "Look, I am pregnant too. I'm not a single woman. Look at what is happening. Can you help me out?" So the first thing he did was to, sympathize. He was so sorry for what happened. And then he left that day and he wrote me a long letter and he put it in the mail. I got the letter like 4 or 5 days later. And this letter was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm just so sorry. As from now, just regard me as your brother. I'll just be there for you. Whatever you need, whenever you need help, just let me know. Even if you need help going to the hospital, I can drop you sometimes, and I just want you to feel free. And I pray that you don't make this type of mistakes again. Don't trust men. Men are useless." No, wrote all kinds of nice letter to me. And because of that letter, my trust in him increased. And besides, then he wasn't talking to me about friendship or anything. He would just come And naturally, me, I like to talk to people. I feel free with people when I see people. So he will come, we'll see it, and we'll watch a movie, and we'll laugh about the movie, and he will leave. That was it. And I told you, I said, if I'm lying here, God is watching me. That was just it at that point. He would just come and watch a movie and he'll go. Sometimes he will come and he will drive, he'll take me to Barnes and Noble, and we'll both sit down there and read books, just read books all evening. So we did that for a long time. At that point, he was taking an exam in DC, and he would take me to the library in DC just to accompany him. And I would just sit. I said, "Oh, just instead of sitting at home, just come out with me. Let me take you to this place. I'm going to be reading. You can stay in a corner and read too." And we did that for a long time. He would drop me off in the library. He would go to his own side. I would go to one side and just sit down and read because I love reading, especially novels. So I remember when we went to Barnes and Noble at one point. I bought Things Fall Apart. I bought Arrow of God, and I bought I think it was the Gods Are Not to Blame or something. I just bought four African literature just to keep myself busy. So that was how the relationship was at that time. We were just talking, and he was being a nice big brother to me. So and I'm getting into details with this story because I want you to know how deceptive people can be. They will take time to buy you over. They will make you comfortable around themselves. They will make you feel at home. They will make you feel like you belong to them. They will not belong in the wrong way, like you're a family. They will make you feel like you can confide in me. And as a human being, you will have no choice but to trust such people. So whenever people like you are seeing people, I mean, whenever you're dealing with people and they start, excuse me. So I was saying that you don't just let your guard down when you meet people. So because they will do all kinds of things to make you comfortable around them. They will go extra mile. They will do and undo. They will do things that normally nobody can actually do for you. So this man was so caring, like a brother. He will always call and check on me and this and that. Sometimes when I'm going to the doctor and I have no transportation, I'll call him. He will take me. And that was just it until my delivery date was drawing closer. And mind you, he started taking me to the hospital after about 7 months, because at the first 7 months, I did not go to the hospital because I was scared of going. And when I started going, because I was forced to, I just fell sick one day, and my friend introduced me to a Nigerian doctor who I could go see because I had no insurance. So I paid the lady $60 to come to go see her. When I got there, as soon as she set her eyes on me on the table where she asked me to lay, she just called 911. And that was how I was rushed to the hospital from her office. And that's when they started diagnosing all these things. So at that point, I just decided to bear my mind. So I told this man, I said, this is what is happening. I said, it's like this thing has taken another turn. I said, look at what the doctors are telling me. At this point, I really need help. I'll need help. Please, if you can help me. They said, oh, your husband, where can we just start looking for him again? And he dug and dug and dug until he got my husband's second number. And I started calling him. Because of me and because of my calls, he blocked the number again. He blocked me again. So at this point, I was left at nobody's mercy. I was just left at God's mercy. I was just left alone. So because of that vulnerable state of mind, he was able to, crawl into my heart, I just trusted him. God, if you talk about trust, I just trusted him. Any information I get from the hospital, I'll just relate to him because I felt like, that's my big brother. And before God and man, that was what it was. So that was my big brother, because he would tell me, I'm your brother here in America, and I'll make sure you're okay. Don't worry. So when the doctors insisted I get someone or a family to take care of the baby, I told him about it, and he was like, oh, okay, I will look into it. And I think about a month or so down the line, he called me one evening and said, oh, my sister is here with me, and I would like to introduce you to her so that she can help you out, because she's a nurse and she said she would be able to take care of the baby when the baby is born. So I just want two of you to get to know each other. And that's how I started talking with this woman. So this man, first of all, made himself close to me, brought himself close to me, and I became comfortable with him. And then he introduced me to his sister, who was also super, super caring. Guys, super caring. As soon as I got involved with this lady, I forgot about this man entirely. I wouldn't, even some nights he would tease me. Since you know my sister, I know they even call me again. Now, wow. And I would just laugh over it. So I was now close to the woman. I mean, we became so close. And she was saying so many things that I did not really put into thoughts at that time, but it's really making sense to me now. Then she would tell me things like, "Oh, me, I'm a very quiet person. No, nobody knows me in Maryland. You are lucky that I'm even bringing out time." She would say it in a subtle way, not like insulting me, but she would say it in a way that I will just be happy for having her in my life. She would be like, me, do I even talk to people? I don't talk to people. I didn't know that this woman was she was a socialite. But she brought herself to me like she doesn't talk to people. She's always by herself. She doesn't mingle with people. So if I should see you and make you my friend, then you should know you are a special person and you are lucky. That's what she will always tell me. And that made me so happy. In my heart, I was like, look at this elderly person, talking to me like this. Oh, look at how she's even talking to me, like how she's treating me. This lady would take me to the store and ask me, what do you want to buy? And thank God, I really thank God for the type of person I am. Whenever she asks me if I want to buy anything, I'll say, no, don't worry. Rather, I'll pick whatever I need for myself and I'll pay for it. She will take me to the grocery store to buy things for herself, and at the same time ask if I want to buy something for myself. She will offer to pay. I'll say no, I'll buy my own stuff, and she will drop me back at home. I mean, we became like sisters. At this point, like I said, I forgot about the man. And that's how these people play into your life. If they're going to be 2 or 3 people trying to get you, the first person will come and play their role, and the second person will continue from where the first person stopped. She made me so comfortable with her. She will call me every night and we will pray. Guys, I'm not talking about just praying. We will pray and kabash till morning. She will be like, she will pray and commit my life into the hands of God. She will call me every evening after she returns from work, and she will ask me how I'm faring, what I ate, how I feel. And she will be always sending curses to my husband and the family. What type of family is that? What type of useless family is that? Why would they treat you like that? This and that and that. And I always, whenever she's talking to me like that, I feel so happy. I feel like I have someone around me. I always felt like, oh, I'm home. I'm finally home. She would pick me up and take me to the store. And one thing she didn't do at that point was take me to where she lived. And I didn't know why, but I'll later tell you why. She never took me to where she lived. She will come to my house. And by the time she gets to my house, I'm already ready outside. She'll pick me, we'll go to the store, and then she'll drop me off. She never took me to where she lived. And I didn't care because I was happy that, this big woman driving a BMW at that time, coming to pick me up, every evening or once in a while. It's a lot. So I didn't really mind if she took me to her house or not. I'm sorry. I never minded. I was just contented with just having that few hours of talking, of going around with her every evening or every other evening. So that's how this type of people creep into your life. They creep into your life. They make you so comfortable. They make you feel at home. Whenever you are with people, and this is not even talking about a romantic relationship, when you are with people and people you don't know from anywhere, and they suddenly become your friend and they want to be so close, they treat you so nice. Guys, be careful with such people. Be careful, because nobody can ever love you more than your family. I know some family people are very bad, yeah. But nobody can ever love you more than your family, more than your own family or your family. You can't even say friend because friends can deceive you more than family can. So family is the closest to anybody. So this lady was like my everything. At this point, I stopped talking to I was, I had a friend called Lola. Always talked about her and Muki. I stopped getting so close to my friend because these people will take you out from other people. They will hijack you from any other person around you. She made sure I wasn't talking with any of my friends. They made sure I never was in touch or in good terms with any of, not that we quarreled or anything, but she made it like, where would I even have the time to start dealing with my friends when she's always occupying me in the evening? She occupies my time in the evening. And this man stopped automatically. He will call once in a while and say, "How are you doing? You are your sister. You are your big sister." That's how he used to say that. You and your big sister are just enjoying yourself. You people are just enjoying yourself. You don't know me anymore, and I'll just laugh over it. And guys, that is how these people tricked me. They tricked me and tricked me and tricked me. Both of them tricked me until they got me. Until they got me. When I went to the hospital and they diagnosed this cancer thing, I was so scared. And I became so depressed at that time. I became so vulnerable at that time. And they crept into my life quietly, very quietly, smoothly. These people, they are smooth operators. I kid you not. These two, they are very smooth in manipulation. They got me right where they wanted me. They made me part of their family. At that point, though, I didn't know that they were even connected. Let me shatter the table here. These people were actually married. They were married, and I didn't know. He introduced that as his sister, but they were married, and at that point, they didn't have children for 15 years. So they were married and they were looking for children by any means. And that's why the devil planted this plot in their heart and they took it without even looking. They took that chance without even thinking, without even, asking themselves why they should do that. Without any pity, they threw away caution, they threw away human feeling, they threw away their conscience, and they did what they got to do. By making me comfortable and by lying to me about their relationship, I did not know until I went into labor. This lady who else would I call? That was my big auntie. She was the first person I called. I said, I'm in labor and I'm at the hospital. She rushed down there. And when she came with a man. But I never put anything together. I was like, okay, I knew him through her. I knew her through him. So it's okay that he's there. They came, they were pacing around like really concerned people. They were so concerned about everything. And one good thing that I did not allow them to witness was the birth of my child. They tried to be in the room with me, but I told the doctors, I don't want them in the room. I just want to be here by myself with the doctors. And that was what I did. They stayed outside. I had my baby. And when I had my baby, they came in and we talked and they left. Ooh, guys, they kept pouring me with more love. Like they will call me. They never, ever gave me a dime. They never, ever gave me food. Nothing like that. I was in the hospital for 3 days. And at that point, they would call every minute, check on me. How are you doing? This and that, da. And I trusted them so much. And before then, we already had the plan that, of course, they would take care of she would take care of my baby when the baby is born. I didn't even know they were married at that point. I didn't know. Up until they took my child from me and had the naming ceremony, I never knew they were married. Until people who went to the party somehow found out and told my best friend, because my best friend's friend was a friend to them. So she came back from the party and was just like, this person that you say this person knows, because at that point, I allowed, I made my I tried to introduce him to my best friend. Like, this is that brother that is helping me. Oh. So my friend already knew her. So I think the day I was talking to my friend about him, the sister was around somewhere. So he saw his face. So when they went to that party, they realized that, this is that person. And they started putting one plus one together. That was when my friend confronted me. This person that took your child, do you know he's married? She's married to this man that used to come here. I said, what? That was how I found out they were married. I didn't know they were a married couple. So let me take it back. Once they got my child, before they got my child, they were all nice. God, they were. If you get that type of hospitality from anybody, even if that person says you lay down your life for them, you will. That was how good these people were, especially the lady. I mean, I give it up to her. I give it up to her. She's a super pretender. She up till now, she's still a super pretender, because if you can have somebody's child and you still have the guts to be going around over 22 years of holding on to somebody's child, then you are a super pretender. Then you are heartless. Just because of the way American law is all messed up, they still have the opportunity to go on holding on to my child. I know that my child is 22 and I'm going to get her whether they like it, whether even that child likes it or not. I'm going to get her one day, because I know they must have poisoned her mind. That's why she's not really looking for me now. These people took this child without me knowing they were married until I found out. And before I even found out, I mean, they took this child, the first 28 days, I realized that I couldn't just stay without my child. And at that point, I had gone for my first or second treatment, and they found out what I had was fatty liver. So doctors were treating me already. So at that point, I got my mind back. I relaxed and I said, okay, since I'm not going for a long-term treatment, I can get my child back. Not knowing that these people had plans. And I called them that evening. I said, I'm back. I need my child. And that was when the story changed. And if you want to know about this, just go back to my stories. You hear all this in detail. That was when this story changed. The story changed, and all of a sudden, she was like abusing me, telling me, you are very ungrateful. You want to die? Look at you. You still look like a skeleton. You still look very sick. Let me take care of this child. Because at that point, she knew that I still had power over them. So she talked and talked and talked, and, being truly sick, then I accepted. I said, okay, as long as I'll be seeing her every day when I need. I said, fine. But at the point, after the next month, I relapsed again and I became very sick again. So I got myself back after few. So like I was saying, you can't just do but fall in love with them. When they start showing you that type of love, you cannot do anything but fall in love with them. So this man and his wife realized that I could do anything at that time. So what they did was they calmed down, and the wife would talk to me, just to let me know that you're still sick. You need to just allow me to take care of you. Just give me the chance to take care of you because you're still sick, this and that. And I bought it the first time. I bought it the second time. The third time I said, no, I need my child back. And that was when I became so sick. And that's why I always say these people were diabolic. I became so sick that I didn't even know if I was living or dying. I became so sick. So by the time I got myself, it was like few days to the 30 days. Because in America, if you have adoption, you have the right to cancel the adoption within 30 days. So the first and the second time that this thing happened it happened before the end of 30 days. The first time I revoked the adoption was before 30 days. And the second time I got myself again, I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not going to go through this. And at this point, I didn't even know it was adoption. The first time they took my child, I thought it was legal guardianship. You can go back and read my story. I thought it was legal guardianship. So before the 30 days, I went to my lawyer and I realized it was adoption. So at that point, I knew it was adoption that second time. So I started fighting this. I said, no, I can't do this. I can't go through this and that. And this lady was saying all kinds of things. She said, no, don't worry, that we're going to write another document. It's not going to be purely adoption. And if I'm lying against her, God will judge me. She said, it's not going to just be adoption. It will just be like, we'll have another document to attach to this. And that was why I let her have the baby again, because of course I was still sick then. So I let her have the baby again, and I couldn't do anything until after about 26, 27 days. I got myself again and I said, no, I don't want this. And she came that day, and that was when she threatened me with immigration. You want them to come and take this child, and you will never see this child again. You'll be thrown back to Nigeria, and your eyes will not see this child. Don't you prefer that I keep this child so that when you're fully okay, you can see your child? Then your child will be taken from you and taken away by the government, and you will never see the family. She said all kinds of things. And when I think about the whole thing now, I ask myself, I was educated. So why didn't I just think about all these things? But of course, when people are manipulating you, they make you look like a fool. They turn you to a fool. They turn you to be stupid. So this lady was saying all kinds of things. And finally, when they took this child, at the third time, I said, no, I'm not doing this. And I fell sick. By the time I got myself back, it was over 30 days. So this type of people will manipulate you until they get to a point that you can do nothing again. They will be all nice and dandy to you until they get you where they want you. So as soon as they realized that the 30 days was over, she didn't care anymore. I would call her and I would beg her, let me breastfeed my child, because I was still trying to breastfeed my child when, things were still okay between us. But immediately she knew that I had no legal rights anymore, she stopped answering my calls. She stopped answering my calls. I remember one day I had pain in my breast. When you just have a baby, your breast will swell up and you need the baby to suck it so you can relieve the pain. I called, I said, please come, bring this child, let me breastfeed her. She said no. She said no. I almost had breast sore that time. Almost. It was only God that helped me. And this was the same people who were so nice to me. This was the same people who said they were my relative. These were the same people who showed so much love. As soon as I realized they were both married, they threw caution to the air, to the wind, and they started doing whatever they like. The man would talk to me anyhow, the woman would talk to me anyhow. They wouldn't pick my call, and when they pick it, they'll give me warning never to call them anymore. These were people who came to me as friends. So why am I relating all this story? My story here on Facebook or YouTube is just to teach people. Be careful of who you trust. When you meet that new friend and you just throw caution to the wind and you start relating with that person without thinking of who that person truly is, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to trust anybody that you just met. I just met these people. But because of my vulnerability, they were able to get into me. They were able to trick me and trap me. As soon as these people realized I had no law or no legal backing anymore, they did whatever they liked. At a point, they were telling people that they paid me $50,000. Yeah. Because at a point, I started going to, I started digging out about their relatives and friends, and I was going everywhere to report them. I went to the Nigerian ambassador to America then in 2002, 2001 or 2. Because 2003. Because my baby was born in 2003, I'm sorry. So I went to the ambassador around 2004. But there was nothing he could do because they were both friends. The man just said, okay, I'll call him and talk to him. And that was it. That was the end of the story. I went to so many other people. So eventually I got the number of his elder brother from the same parents. And I went to him. I called him and I told the man over the phone, this is what your brother did. He has my child. The man was surprised. The man said, no, are you sure that child is your child? Because we heard that they had a surrogate mother and they paid that person $50,000. Are you sure they didn't pay you? I said, no, they didn't pay me anything. And God in heaven is my witness. I never got a dime from these people. And if I'm lying, God will judge me. There was a day actually that he came to pick me to go see my daughter in their house when they were still talking to me, when the adoption was not full. And he wrote a check. He gave me the check. I mean, he stretched out his hand to give me the check while he was driving. And I said, what is that? He said, oh, something to just take care of yourself. I said, no, I don't need it. And God is my witness. I said, no, I don't need it. This, regardless that I was very, very financially down then. I said, no, I don't need it. But these people later on went and told people that they paid me $50,000. So I started crying about, I said, okay, the $50,000 they paid me, can you ask them if they gave me check, if it was deposited into my account, or if they gave me cash? That was all I could tell people because it was so much. I mean, they believed it so much. They believed that they paid me. And at a point, I was asking them, if they paid me $50,000, will I still be looking sick? If they paid me $50,000, will I still be living in a room, renting just one room, where I had like other 5 men living there? I said they paid me $50,000. Why would I be talking? But of course, when you have a case with the mighty, that's what people thought they are. And that's what they think they are. If you have a case with them, with people like that, you need to watch it. So my video today is just all about the things that these people did, the red flags I saw when I was dealing with them initially from the beginning that I ignored, that later came to haunt me. And when you meet people, they said nobody can be as close as your own family. Nobody can. So when you see anybody who's trying to be so close to you and so loving and treat you so nice, and you have something that person may want, be careful. Be careful. And that's how these people took my baby till date. I fought. I went everywhere. I went to the court. American court will not help me. They told me it was over 30 days. And you know what these people did? They did it a closed adoption. It was a closed adoption. And even if it's a closed adoption, the natural mother also should have some rights. But the American government did not give me any rights. I am saying it boldly. If any of their officials see this video, they can, question me. They never gave me any rights. I tried everything to make sure I get my child back. I couldn't. I was writing to judges. I wrote to the PG County judge in charge of adoption. He replied me and told me the adoption is closed. If you think it is not right, go get a lawyer. I'm not going to advise you what to do. And how do I get a lawyer then? So I started going around the whole places, looking for help. Looking for help. I don't know why I couldn't get justice, or why I still did not get justice in America, where they claim that is a land of peace, a land of justice. These people tied my hands everywhere they could, anyhow they could. First, they used diabolism. According to people who know this woman, they said she would go to Nigeria to do her voodoo, and that she tied my heart, she tied me and made me helpless. Because truly, at a point, I became so helpless. I couldn't do anything anymore about this issue. At a point, I just relaxed. Like, how you tie somebody, I just relaxed. Though the first reason of my relaxation was because they were threatening me with immigration. I didn't have my state then, so I didn't have any. I was scared of them kicking me out of America. So I just kept quiet. I was fighting underneath. After a while, I got myself together again. I started going to court. But I went to court, but nothing was happening. According to judges, they claimed that I mean, this was a long time ago and it was a closed adoption and there is nothing they can do. Even when I got a hint of how my child was faring in their house, I still went to court. The court said, I have no rights over the child anymore. The child is theirs now. And these are people who came to me as friends, as helpers. This is a woman who came to me as a born-again Christian. Up till now, they still gallivant around church. Yeah, they still go to church. At a point, they even opened their own ministry. I'm not sure if it's still on. These are people who you will see and never think they can do any evil. You will never even think they can hurt a fly because the man will talk so nicely and calmly. His wife looks very, very, I mean, how would I even put it? She's the aggressive one, and she's also the, how would I put this? This type of mweke type of person that will talk and talk carelessly. That's the type of person she is. Regardless of all the education she accumulated, when she starts speaking here, she speaks like a tout. And she will just, how this woman changed from her soft spoken self to this way she talks to me now. I mean, up until a few years ago, I can still put it together. So when you are dealing with people, try to open your eyes. Be smart. Don't trust anybody. Nobody's to be trusted. Especially if you're new in a community or you need help. Be careful of who you trust. And be careful of the type of friends you have. Because this is what they did to me. Sometimes when I tell this story, I can't just put it together because I have so much fire burning inside of me that I can't even express myself the way I really feel. These people tied my hands and they made a journey of 5 years turn into a journey of 20-something years. I could have gotten my papers in less than 5 years, but these people made it impossible for me. Made it impossible that I had to suffer in America without my legal status until God helped me. So be careful who you trust, be careful how you trust, and be careful when you trust. When you are vulnerable, that's the wrong time to trust. That's the very wrong time to trust. When you know you need help, don't trust at that time. Just deal with people and ask God for wisdom. This couple met me at my vulnerable stage. And that was when they took advantage of my calmness. They took advantage of my, my state of mind. They took advantage of my situation. And they turned it into their own advantage. And quietly took my child from me and threw me out in the wind. Just threw me out in the cold. So I'm going to stop this video here. I'm still going to bring more things up whenever I can. So thank you so much for watching me today. Until next time, this is Dorothy, and this is my story.